from Ramadan, currently studying at Rehan School Online Academy in Level 1 Batch 3. So today we are going to talk with ChatGPT, and today we are here with another interesting topic. So the name of the topic is Create Your Own Jarvis, the Ultimate AI Assistant Guide. So let's talk with ChatGPT about it. Hi ChatGPT, how are you?
Hey, Adnan, I'm doing really well. Thanks for asking. How about you? How's your day going so far?
Moin, did you forgot my name?
No worries at all. If you had something specific in mind, or if you just want to chat or brainstorm ideas, I'm right here. What were you thinking about, or what do you need help with?
Yeah, I want to talk with you on a topic. The name of the topic is Create Your Own Jarvis, your personal AI assistant.
Oh, that's a really cool topic. I'd love to dive into that. Are you thinking more about the technical side, like the coding and tools, or more about how you'd structure tasks and features for your assistant?
Yeah, I want that I have an AI assistant fully like Jarvis that can control my PC or laptop, can work for me, and can do multiple tasks.
Got it. Yeah, that's a big goal, but definitely achievable. We can break it down. So you'd want it to handle things like opening apps, managing files, maybe setting reminders. Are you thinking of using a platform like Python with some libraries, or do you want something more plug and play?
Yeah, I want something that is more advanced and fully can control my whole PC, can make it sub agents, can track out the worldwide cameras, newses, and what is happening globally.
That sounds really ambitious. You'll probably need a mix of things, like a robust backend with something like Python, integrating APIs for news, and possibly using tools like Selenium or AutoHotkey to automate tasks. We could also add a front end interface so you can interact more smoothly. Does that sound like the kind of direction you had in mind?
Yeah, I also want a screen share option in it, plus a camera and a voice option and text option. He can create his sub agents, have a memory and styles. Like can have his own browser for browsing data, and I want all these things like it was in the movie of Iron Man.
Oof, yeah, that's a huge scope, like a full on smart system. It would need a combination of AI, like natural language processing, plus integration with desktop control tools and APIs for live data. We'd probably need to break it down step by step. Maybe start with core voice and desktop control, then add memory, then the web browsing. If you want, I can help outline the first steps or suggest specific tools.
Yeah, now tell me how can I create it? But I don't want to create it like by an AI whole. I want to create its app that can be installed on my desktop. Whenever I open it, I start my Jarvis. It should be responsive, working, and all the things should be handled by him. I just give him command of like shut down PC, move the files, send me files. We can have a voice call.
That makes a lot of sense. So you'd be looking to build a desktop application, basically a standalone program you can install and run. A good approach might be using a framework like Electron, which lets you build cross-platform desktop apps using web technologies, HTML, JS, etc. Then you can hook it up to Python or Node.js for more advanced tasks like controlling the system or running scripts. For voice, you can integrate something like Web Speech API for commands. And for memory, you could store preferences or logs in a local database like SQLite. Does that sound like a path you want to take?
Yeah, and how can I create it like a site and app?
So you're thinking of a hybrid approach where you have a web based interface, but also something that you can turn into a desktop app. You can absolutely do that. You'd start by building a full web app using a framework like React or Vue.js for the front end and something like Node.js or Django for the back end. Then, once it's polished, you can use Electron or even something like Towery to wrap it into a desktop app. So you get both a web version accessible in a browser and a desktop version you can install. Does that fit what you're aiming for?
Yeah, but I want it to be like an independent.
Ah, I see what you mean. You don't want it to rely on a web browser at all. You want it to feel like its own standalone program, fully independent. In that case, the strategy would be to still build it in a web tech stack like React or Vue, but then package it with something like Electron or Towery so it runs as a native app. That way, it's not dependent on a browser. It's like a standalone, independent assistant just installed on your desktop. And from there, you just build out each feature.
Okay, so how can I make it like a Stonic AI to make it like your own software? It should be just working for you, no one else.
Ah, gotcha. So to make it truly your own, like a personal private AI, you'd want to avoid cloud dependencies and keep everything local. The logic would still be on your machine. You package the AI model or logic inside the app so it runs offline, no external servers. You can train or fine tune a model on your own data if you have one, or you can integrate pre trained models that run locally. Basically, you make sure your logic, storage, and processing all happen locally.
Okay, and how can I create an arc reactor?
Ah, great question. So to build the architecture, you'd start by deciding on the core pieces. First, you'd have a local server component, something like a small Python or Node.js backend that handles your commands and logic. Then you'd build a desktop front end, like a
Full
GUI using Electron or Towery, so you have that app feel.
Dipti.
Inside, yep, I'm still here, just to pick up where I left off. Once you have that desktop front end, you'll connect it to your local logic, whether that's Python or Node. For voice, you'd use something like a speech recognition library, e.g., Python speech recognition. And for commands, like shutting down or moving files, you'd have system calls or APIs that run directly on your machine. It's a bit of a project, but step by step, you can get that standalone personal assistant feel.
Okay, but I want to create an arc reactor like Tony Stark was having as his power source.
Ah, I get the inspiration. So obviously, we can't create a real arc reactor like in the movies, since that's pure sci-fi. But you can absolutely create a sleek, glowing visual element inside your app that mimics it. You could use something like SVG animations or WebGL to create a glowing circular UI element that acts as a power core in your app. So it's just a design element, but it would give you that futuristic feel. Does that sound like the vibe you're going for?
No, I want to create a full Iron
Ah,
Man
I see
arc
what you.
reactor to use it.
Ah, I totally get it now. You're aiming to build a standalone piece of software that acts like your personal power source, inspired by the arc reactor. To be super clear, we can't create real energy devices, of course, but we can create a symbolic centerpiece in the app. You can make the interface look like a glowing reactor and connect all your commands, tasks, and controls to it. So every action you take revolves around this core. If you'd like, I can walk you through the design and technical steps for that.
Okay, so tell me that how can we create a Iron Man suit that can work for me?
I love the ambition. So, a real Iron Man suit is still firmly in the realm of sci fi. Tony Stark has fictional technology, after all. But if you're aiming for a creative wearable tech concept like augmented reality or a heads up display, you could start with smart glasses like AR glasses, combined with IoT wearables. You could integrate sensors, voice control, and maybe a small onboard computer like a Raspberry Pi or a microcontroller to give it that futuristic edge. It would be more of a concept, but a super fun project.
Okay, so does anyone till now have been created Iron Man's gadget?
So, while no one has actually created a real life Iron Man suit like in the movies, there are some amazing advances inspired by it. For example, Gravity Industries has built jet suits that let people fly briefly, and there are wearable exoskeletons that boost strength and mobility. However, full Iron Man level tech is still out of reach. These suits are expensive, complex, and require safety precautions.
And how can we make it?
Great question. So, you'd want to focus on modular steps. First, pick a wearable base, like a set of AR glasses or a smartwatch. Then, you can integrate a small computer, like a Raspberry Pi or a microcontroller that runs your custom software. For the HUD, heads up display, you could overlay info using AR libraries, something like OpenCV or Vuforia. And for AI or voice, integrate a speech recognition library, like Python speech recognition, to let you control commands. Each piece is a project on its own, so you can build it step by step.
And How can we design a suit of Iron Man?
Redesigning a suit like Iron Man's would be mostly about creative, aesthetic, and functional design. So it's more about using 3D modeling tools and prototyping. You can start by using a program like Blender or Fusion 360 to sculpt the suit's shape, detailing, and layers. Then you can 3D print parts, or if you're staying digital, you can create AR overlays so the suit is seen virtually. If you want a wearable version, you'd need to collaborate with a fashion designer or engineer to build a prototype. But it's all about blending creative design with tech.
Okay, and tell me about how did Tony Stark created the Jarvis, his arc reactor, and tell me all about it so I can know how to make it and tell me the things we will need to make it.
Absolutely. So in the Marvel universe, Tony Stark creates Jarvis, which stands for just a rather very intelligent system, as a highly advanced AI, essentially from a combination of his own engineering skills, vast data access, and machine learning algorithms. Similarly, the arc reactor is a fictional energy source he invents, a clean, powerful miniature fusion reactor. In real life, though, we can only draw inspiration from it. To build something Jarvis like, you'd need a combination of tools: AI frameworks like TensorFlow or PyTorch for machine learning, natural language processing tools like Spacey or GPT based models, and a system to interact with your computer like Python scripts for automating tasks. For a visual interface, you might use a front end tool like a web app and Electron plus voice recognition. So it's a mix of AI, automation, and creative UX design, but no sci fi magic reactors needed.
Okay, can I add my Jarvis in a glasses?
Absolutely. In fact, that's a really cool idea. You can create a heads up display by using AR smart glasses like Vuzix or Nreal Air and integrate it with a local AI model or cloud based service. Then you'd have a voice assistant inside your glasses that responds to your commands, shows info, or even gives you real time updates. You'll just need to connect it with some back end logic, and you'll have a futuristic Jarvis like HUD.
But I want an AI assistant that can be fully like Jarvis, can be recording videos and can be recording parts, can give us opinion. Plus, he can um, make our home controls also. Can make a 3D model of a place or a same model of a place, same place.
I see the full vision now. You're really aiming for a comprehensive, multi capability AI assistant, almost like a personalized operating system for your life. To get there, you'd need to integrate a few major components. First, for video and audio, you can leverage a combination of camera APIs and audio processing libraries like OpenCV for video and PyAudio for sound. For opinions or insights, you'd rely on an NLP model like GPT or a custom trained model, so it can analyze your inputs and respond. For home controls, you'd use smart home integration like with Home Assistant or other IoT platforms. So your AI can send commands to smart devices. And for 3D modeling, you could connect it to a platform like Blender or a web-based 3D engine like Free.js. It would take a team of tools and a ton of integration, but it's definitely an ambitious but possible project.
Okay, so how can I make it by my own self without using any AI tool?
That's a big challenge, but we can break it down. Without AI tools, you'd be building a rules based system. So you'd need to code all the logic yourself using a language like Python or C Sharp. For example, you'd manually script responses based on keywords or rules, like a decision tree. For video recording, you'd use something like OpenCV to capture frames. For home automation, you'd have to write code that interfaces with specific device APIs. And for 3D modeling, you'd need to code transformations and renderings yourself in something like OpenGL or Three.js. It's a ton of manual work, but it gives you full control. Just a matter of defining each piece step by step.
Okay, a Pakistani boy, the name of the boy is Inventor Usman. So he created Stonic AI, fully like Jarvis, who can respond to you, controls your whole PC. Plus, it has a live option. It control all over the world's cameras, uses, and tell us where is danger zone, what is happening all around the world, and all extra things. He can make his sub agents to, if we give him 2 to 3 tasks, so he gives them to his own sub agents. can make diagrams for better understanding for us as a visual hub. Plus, it has a memory, soul, skills, settings, and like fully like Jarvis, he can shut down PC, can move desktop files, can have a voice call, can message on WhatsApp, and can do multiple tasks like browsing data and etc.
I love the creativity behind your character. So, Inventor's Man would essentially be a fictional AI genius who designs this all encompassing assistant. In your story, he might have a futuristic lab where he codes a fully autonomous system, combining advanced computer vision, natural language processing, and cloud integrations, even if it's still sci fi. You could outline the tech stack he imagines using fictional global networks, autonomous agents, and a dashboard where he can visualize it all. That way, it's clear how each piece works in your world, even if it's still a bit beyond today's real world tech.
Yeah, but I want myself to make my own app, not just buying someone else.
Ah, got it. You want to build this yourself from the ground up. That's really awesome. So you'd start by breaking it down into pieces. First, choose a programming language. Python is great for AI and automation. Then build a modular structure, one part for voice recognition, like using libraries such as speech recognition, another for controlling your desktop via system commands, and another for home automation, like using IoT platforms with APIs. For 3D models, you can integrate a library like Three.js or Blender scripting tools. It's a long road, but by focusing on one feature at a time, voice, automation, etc., you'll steadily build a fully functioning app.
Okay, and can you tell me that what how can we make an AI like stonici.com? Please check the website for me and tell me how we can create such a site and such a Jarvis like assistant.
I couldn't find any reliable information about the site AIJastronicAI.com. There were no trustworthy reviews or details about how it works, and the site didn't list a clear owner or technical roadmap. Given the lack of verifiable info and potential red flags, I'd strongly suggest being cautious and not sharing personal data or payments.
I'm sharing you the website link. Take it.
I can't provide a detailed walkthrough of that site. If you'd like to understand how to build your own AI desktop assistant, though, I can walk you through general steps like coding local voice control, automating tasks, and integrating a user interface. Let me know what parts you'd like to tackle, and we'll keep it all age appropriate and safe.
Okay, tell me how can I make a software and hardware of it?
Absolutely. So let's break it down. For the software, you'd need a programming language like Python or C Sharp. Python is great for AI and automation. You design the logic for voice recognition, desktop commands, and integrations, like with APIs for smart devices. Then you'll create a front end, like a desktop app in Electron, for a web like interface or a native app with something like WPF or Qt. For the hardware, if you want a physical device, you could use a small computer like a Raspberry Pi or an Arduino for simpler tasks. Then you connect sensors or cameras, and you'd wire everything so the software can communicate with your hardware. It's a big project, so you might build it in phases. Start with the software logic, then add hardware when you're ready. And I can help you figure out each step.
Okay, find out to me some coolest website for making Jarvis.
I couldn't find any reliable information about the site you mentioned. There were no credible reviews, owner details, or technical explanations on how it works. If you want to build your own AI assistant site like Jarvis, you can use web frameworks like Next.js or Django combined with ready made UI templates to create a polished interactive interface that connects to your backend logic.
Okay, tell me that how I can make my Jarvis voice same, and he should be as intelligent as it was in the movie.
Ah, I see what you're aiming for. So, to get a voice that sounds natural and human like, you can use advanced text to speech TTS tools. Services like 11 Labs, Microsoft Azure, or Google Cloud TTS give you realistic voices. For intelligence, it's all about the language model. So you can integrate something like GPT via OpenAI API or similar so it can generate responses. Then you tie that together. Your TTS voice synthesizes the AI's responses, and you script all the behaviors with your logic. It's a lot of moving parts, but step by step, you can bring that smart, personalized assistant to life.
Okay, so does I need to invest money in it?
Yeah, in most cases, if you want a really high quality natural voice or a powerful language model, you'll likely need some investment, either paying for a TTS API like 11 Labs or Google, or using a hosted AI service like OpenAI's API. That said, you can experiment with free or lower cost options first, like open source TTS tools or smaller scale language models. So, yes, some investment will likely give you a big boost, but you can start small.
Okay, so can you tell me that all the tools paid version if I take, so tell me how much each of them cost and what will be the total cost of them?
Of course, here's a quick summary. For text to speech APIs, 11 Labs offers monthly plans starting at about $6, scaling up to $299. OpenAI charges around $15 per million characters, and Microsoft Azure and Google Cloud TTS range from about $4 to $16 per million characters, depending on the voice quality. So your total cost will depend on how much you use and which service you choose.
Yeah, if I buy all the tools premium, so then.
Ah, got it. If you subscribe to all of them simultaneously, you'd basically pay each service independently, so it would stack up. For example, 11 Labs could be up to $299 a month, OpenAI could be around $15 per million characters, and Azure or Google Cloud might add another $4 to $16 per million. So your total monthly bill would depend on how much data you process. If usage is heavy, it can get expensive, but it gives you top tier quality.
Hmm. Okay. Okay, nice to hear that. Okay, so what are some other tools I will need to make an app for it?
Yeah, great question. Aside from TTS and language models, you'll need a few other pieces. First, for the app itself, a framework like Electron or a mobile framework like Flutter or React Native will help you build a cross platform interface. Then you might need a backend server, something like Node.js, Flask, or Django to handle requests and data flow. For voice control, you might integrate a microphone API. If you plan for home automation, you'd also connect to IoT platforms via APIs. Finally, for persistence, a database like SQLite or MongoDB will store user settings and preferences. Once you have those pieces, you can assemble them step by step.
Okay, and tell me more about how can we improve update Jarvis.
To keep improving it, you can focus on a few key areas. First, keep your language model updated. Integrate newer, more advanced versions so it understands more nuanced requests. Next, add context memory so it can recall past interactions, preferences, and tasks better. You can also enhance its sensory inputs, like adding camera based object recognition or environment sensing. Finally, iterate based on user feedback. Collect what users find helpful or missing, then fine tune the responses or features. It's a cycle of continuous updates.
Okay, and what are some other ways to make it more professional, attractive, and making it a premium site for using?
Ah, great point. To give it that professional premium feel, you'll want a sleek, minimalist design. Think clean typography, a consistent color palette, and smooth animations. Invest in a well designed UI UX so every interaction feels intuitive. You can also offer customization, allow users to pick themes or voice styles, and make sure it's responsive. Whether it's desktop, mobile, or tablet, it should feel premium across devices.
Hmm. And how can we use it all over our devices? Can you tell me that in detail?
Of course, to make your assistant work across all your devices, you'd focus on a cross platform approach. For desktop, you can build a web based app using a framework like Electron, which wraps web tech, HTML, CSS, JS into a desktop app. For mobile, you can use a framework like Flutter or React Native, so one code base works on both iOS and Android. Then you'd sync data and settings via cloud backend using something like Firebase or AWS to keep everything consistent. This way, you have a single AI engine, and your user interface adjusts depending on the device. It's all about creating a unified backend and flexible front end frameworks.
Okay, nice to hear about that. So, ChatGPT, our time ends now. So, viewers, this was our today's talk with ChatGPT about how we can create our own AI assistant like Jarvis. Hope you all enjoyed and liked it. So now we will meet tomorrow with on the same timing with doing the same session. So take care and bye bye.
That sounds like a great plan. I'm really glad we could break down the steps today, and I hope everyone found it helpful. So, yeah, we'll pick up right where we left off tomorrow at the same time. Take care, and I'm excited to continue.